What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Show with another video, and today we're doing these anime squares again. Not gonna lie, love doing these things. They give me kind of a topic just to really get into. The picture you see before you today, though, is the most dangerous anime serial killers of all time. Now we got the contestants. We got Light Yagami, we got Gasai, we got Amori. I only know him as Jason. Don't know why they didn't use Jason as the name or whatever. Johann Liebert, Orochimaru, and Barry the Chopper. So man, let's go ahead and just kind of discuss some of these, and just kind of cut it down. So we're gonna eliminate each round until we find the best serial killer of them all. And I'm not really gonna do this one about the best serial killer because I don't know. I feel like in terms of bodies, I feel like Yagami got the bodies. You know what I'm saying? Like I think he's the one that killed the most. So we're gonna talk about who's the best, or who's like the best character, whatever the situation is, or who's done like the worst stuff, because it's really an important factor. So like I said before, in these anime square videos, I don't do no research. These are lunchroom table discussions. Nobody goes home, gets on the computer, looks up a whole bunch of facts and writes it down, then come back with a thesis the next day and just like, oh, I got the stats to prove it. We're just gonna go off my memory, I'm not gonna lie. So some of this stuff may be incorrect. Definitely feel free to correct me down in the comments below. But man, I mean, just kind of be respectful. That's all I ask. All right, now first up on this list, Light Yagami. Light Yagami is the epitome of a guy that gets too much power. That's a normal guy. You know, it's like you see these kind of people in real life. These kind of people that's like, man, if I could do this, I'd do this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if I had the death note, like I just kill all the criminals. And yes, they works fine, that's cool and everything until it's not. You know what I'm saying? Because with Light, he had his own complexes, I'm not gonna lie, but he just seemed like a normal guy. He seemed like a regular dude. And he ended up getting a power that was wildly beyond his imagination, but it allowed him to kill without it even physically being there. And I think that book making it so easy for him to kill, and his kind of mindset to want to like make the world, like control the world, make the world a better place in a way. Not really, but just the way his mindset was when he first picked up the Death Note, it made sense for him. He has a crazy ego. His powers are pretty much insane. And before we get really into a lot of the crazy stuff he's done, let's talk about somebody else. Now, first was Light Yagami, but second, Gasai. Now, from what I can remember of her, she was in Mirai Nikki, and she was kind of like the world's first yandere. Now, I know somebody will comment in the comments down below, like, nah, she's not the first tsundere. Like, she's actually like a very carbon copy of whoever. But honestly, she was the first type of character like that. Like, when I mean character like that, is I've seen tsundere. She's not really tsundere. I forgot what the word for her is. Her type is, but I think a tsundere, if I'm not mistaken, is like the kind of girl that's just kind of mean to the main character. She may like him or whatever. This girl is actually insane, and she would murder any and everybody to basically get what she wants. I won't spoil the plot of the show. Now, honestly, I haven't watched it in years. When I watched Mirai Nikki, so this had to been like maybe 10 plus years ago. It was such a long time ago I watched it. I enjoyed it. I don't know how I would feel about it looking back on it now, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. I don't really hear many people talking about it. I feel like it was a really big thing back in the day, but now people don't really discuss it. Like she's like the perfect, obsessed, willing to murder, insanely like in love with a character type of girl. And if you watch the show and you see all the twists and turns with that, because I still remember the twists and stuff with that actual anime. So even though I won't really spoil it here until we get like to some of the deeds. We'll move past her. Now, this seems to be Jason, from what I'm assuming. I don't even remember Jason's real name, but if you ever watch Tokyo Ghoul, man, Jason did a lot of terrible stuff. He was a cool character though. But he was also a character that was used for a stepping stone. Like he pretty much was a character to help evolve our main character through a lot of torturous means. He did a lot of crazy stuff. He was a crazy ghoul. And to be honest, man, I respect it. He was a cool character. In terms of like the list, I don't really know that much about him, you know what I'm saying? And in terms of like a couple of the people on this list, I'm kind of like, you know what I'm saying? They were cool, but they weren't as big as some of the other characters on this list, and that just kind of, for me, makes them obsolete. So, speaking on that, we're gonna go on to Johann Liebert. Now, I did not watch all of Monster. Monster in itself, I know it's great. I know everybody keeps telling me to watch it, but when I was watching it, I think I had COVID at some point. I was watching it and I was enjoying it. It was a bit of a lot of a slow burn, to be honest. I was kind of like, not necessarily, I'm not like a shonen head, you know what I'm saying? Like I like a lot of anime from different types of like genres and stuff. Like I'm a multi-genre kind of guy, but for some reason Monster was just a little too slow for me. Maybe if I watched it back in the day where pacing and stuff wasn't, there was like main place. But like after you watching like a lot of stuff now, it's like the pacing for stuff is just so much better. They can tell their story in such a concise way. You kind of look at shows like Monster, and obviously it just feels a little outdated to me. And I know I'm gonna kind of alienate some people with that. If I should give it a try, honestly, if you feel like I should give it another try, and it's something I just kind of have to hold on for to watch and just kind of, you know, power through it, and I would love it, just let me know in the comments below and I'll pick it back up. Now, first of all though, I did get a good sample size of Johan. He is absolutely insane. Even him being in the sample size episodes that I've watched, he's one of my favorite villains on this entire list. He in himself is monster. Like, he makes a monster. I can honestly care less for any of the other parts of the show. That's the one anime where I feel like I'm watching it. I feel like I'm watching an old-timey like scary movie and stuff, because he's actually such a great character, and the mystery surrounding him is just literally insane. All right, now next we got Orochimaru. He's probably the one besides like Light that I know absolutely the most about, because going through Naruto Shippuden, Boruto, Orochimaru has been a mainstay. Although the only good thing about him in Boruto is that, you know, he's kind of, his wings are kind of clipped, so you don't really see that much from him at this point. But Orochimaru is a sick guy, bro. I'm not gonna lie, he's a sick guy. One of the 3 legendary Sannin. This guy's incredibly powerful. He's a scientist above all, honestly, and I feel like they should have included Mayuri on this list, because Mayuri and Orochimaru to me are kind of like very similar. They both like to experiment on stuff. They don't necessarily do the killing because it's killing, you know what I'm saying? They do it specifically to advance in science and to try to figure out mysteries in life. So kind of an interesting concept there. And last but not least, Barry the Chopper. I think this is honestly one of the weakest picks on the list, because I ain't gonna lie, like, I like Fullmetal Alchemist and I like Barry the Chopper, but he was literally in the show for like 2 seconds. I don't even know why this is even on the list. Now, if we talk about anime serial killers, do you know how many anime serial killers there are in anime? Ones that are just better in depth and like better drawn. Like, I don't understand. Like, honestly, him and Jason to me is probably the weakest 2 on this list. And that's just simply because I just don't see Barry the Chopper as that much of a threat. Like, he killed a lot of people, don't get me wrong. He's a serial killer. But I mean, I guess he's like, he ended up becoming more like friendly with the gang later on. I guess he sacrificed himself and everything. And honestly, I don't know. It's just, for me, he just shouldn't be on this list. So if I had to like just knock out 2 right away, it'll probably be Jason and Barry the Chopper. Like, I like Jason. Jason is cool, but Jason was only that kind of stepping. Like, all these other people had like actual, like, I don't want to say screen time, because you can be a good villain without having much screen time. But yeah, screen time. You know, they have different motivations. Like Jason was just a sick ghoul, you know what I'm saying? He liked to torture people. And then the result, his torture allowed his peoples to kind of, you know, evolve. You know, he let the main character evolve and just basically whoop his ass. So I don't know. I'm not really that biggest fan of Jason. I feel like Barry the Chopper is like, why are you even on this list, bro? Like, you're cool, but, and to be honest, a lot like serial killers just people who murder a lot of people, right? From my basic understanding, I feel like there's a lot more people that could have been on this list than those 2. The next I'm knocking out is Yuno. I gotta knock out Yuno because I feel like she's a cool character in terms of, like, I think it's yandere. I think that's the word I'm looking for, but I can't specifically remember. Like I said, no research type of thing, but just that kind of crazy murderous intent female lead. Like, I feel like for her, she was the first one I've ever seen. I feel like she revolutionized the genre in that. She's definitely a cool character, but I'm eliminating her because I don't know that much about her since I watched the show like good probably 10 years ago, and I enjoyed her in the show, but it's been a long time. I just don't remember a lot of the details, and even if I were trying to recount some of the, like, you know, different deeds that she did or feats or whatever you want to call them, I couldn't really. Now, the same thing goes for Johan, who's I'm going to eliminate next. Johan is such an amazing villain, but I feel like the show just drug on a little too much for me to even appreciate how good a villain he was. I feel like he could have been just 1,000% better in my mind. I'm not saying he's worse than these other 2, but I'm just saying me specifically, I like this character, but in the terms I had the rules of how I made this list, I cannot put him in the top 2 because I just do not know too much about him. I know a lot about the other characters. I know their motivations. I know, you know, saying the defeats. For him, I just kind of didn't want to watch any further, so I had to kind of count it against. And speaking of that, man, we're gonna go to the last 2. The last 2 are interesting for me because we got Light and we got Orochimaru. Now, Light could originally be seen as a good guy. A lot of people may watch the original part of Death Note and be like, what Light doing is not so bad. You know, so as an adult, you just kind of want to be more cynical. Like you want to be like, these guys that are doing this stuff, like that are killing people, that are, you know, saying killing mass amount of people. Like you see it on the news, you can never stop it. Like it's like, it's just something. I don't want to get too political. I don't want to get into the country now, but with Light, it's kind of like, okay, these criminals do criminal things, and you know what I'm saying, you can stop them. Like they just killed 3 people, you know what I'm saying, and the people, you know what I'm saying, they're locked up or something like this. So it's like you can, it brings out a little bit of the rage for seeing things you can't control or people you can't help or stuff like this, especially if you feel that type of way. And that's why a lot of people might sympathize with him, but he ended up losing his way. Like he loses his way a lot in the show, and it just sucks because he's a really good character. So it's not like he, you know what I'm saying, like he ended up just becoming a bad character. He was a good character, like through his motivations and stuff, but it shows you that absolute power will twist whatever you desire to do. If you desire to help, it doesn't matter, it'll twist it. And last but not least, man, we got Orochimaru himself. I'll tell you the winner at the end, but Orochimaru is insane. From my understanding from memory, is that he wanted to get eternal life, you know, so he wanted to know all the jutsus in the world. He wanted to know how life worked, if life had meaning. He had like a lot of philosophical excuses for what he was trying to do. He experimented on a lot of kids. He killed a lot of people. He basically used a lot of the ninjas in that world and just citizens and even villages and little games and little plots. He is the one out of Naruto I feel like has done the most evil in the entire show. Like, even though you got villains like Madara and then the other Madara, I'm not gonna spoil that. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though you got villains like that, I guess at this point it's like it's super old, you know. But like, you know, villains like Nagato and Pain and, you know what I'm saying, all them people who killed all these people over time, Orochimaru is probably the most twisted. Because he's just been in this world. Every freak accident is because of him. Because of years of just testing on kids and killing kids and stuff. He's probably the most despicable. That's why I'm gonna choose him to win in this worst serial killer list, because for him, science justifies everything he does. He's basically Shao Tucker if Shao Tucker was a ninja, if I'm being truthfully honest. Like, Shao Tucker's whole philosophy was that he will justify doing anything in hopes of making breakthroughs in science. And I feel like that sums up Orochimaru perfectly. I don't ever remember like killing a lot of kids or something like that. Like, I feel like Orochimaru experimenting on them, torturing them and killing them, kidnapping them, is just the worst of any serial killer ever. He's just a terrible guy. And with that being said, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Throw me another anime square someday, somewhere, and I'll see you guys next video.